other teams firing their coach and calling out players and players-only team meetings. What is the 1-5 vibe for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, frustrated is like a big point. Like obviously everybody's frustrated because no one wants to be 1-5, but I think our team actually is very close. Like the guys, you know, get along and we push for each other, and we haven't had any of that internal, arguing and stuff like that. Like everybody's on the same page of like, what do we need to do to be better to try and find a win. So from that mindset, everybody is frustrated with the results, but there's no like infighting in that. It's just like we have that urgency and that, you get a little bit more, maybe fired up throughout the week when you're trying to find a way to get a win.
And specifically, what did you think of, Miles expressed frustration with you guys losing the same way every week. And also, I asked him about, how the losing took its toll on Joe Thomas, and he admitted that it's getting to him too. So those two issues, really.
Yeah, we want to be better for our defense. We want to get them a two-score lead to try and let them rush the passer and unleash it. I think a lot of teams have realized like get the ball out quick, try and neutralize our defense's pass rush because they've done a good job when they're allowed to rush the quarterback. And for us on offense, we have to put a little pressure on them so that they're going to have to, start taking shots and start things. So I totally get it. I mean, if you're sitting here and you're 1-5 and you're not frustrated at things, like that's, a bad sign. So we're all on the same page in that boat. And then, yeah, losing sucks. Your most memorable years of the, for me, that first year when we, started out really, really well, like 7-4, I was like, this is the NFL. You win some games and stuff, and then you go to the playoffs a couple times. Like the winning solves a lot of problems, and so anytime you're, losing games and they're stacking up, like it is frustrating. It gets to you, but that's why you play. You play to win the game, and you try and do whatever you can in your power to get those wins. Because when you get them after those losses, they're even sweeter.
For you personally, Joel, how difficult is it to get up and get to go to work again when things look bleak?
Yeah, it's not the getting up part is not. It's more the body hurts in the morning, But for me, like I get to play football for a living, and I've done my dream job for the last 12 years. So the losing, you never want to walk in the building when it's losing, but I get to come to football. I get to play for the Cleveland Browns, and that's a dream come true. So I always have that mindset. Like I try and be the same guy every day for the team, and try and be that piece that guys can lean on to. Like Joel's coming to work today to do his thing, and so for me, it's not difficult. Do I want us to win more games? Yes, but from a coming to work mindset, like that's my job, and I'm lucky to have it.
Well, you talked about the run game on Sunday, but how much right now do you think is, when you guys don't have that lead, you can't run the way you want to, and I guess how do you combat the frustration of that? Because when it's working, it obviously looks really good so far.
Yeah, we have to be more successful early in the game, running the ball. That way it gives us a chance to, keep a lead and play in those positive game script situations. And so for me, it's like, what can we do as an offensive line, as a tight end group, as receivers, like, to keep the run game going? Because I think it's going to open up everything for, the offense and the defense. It's really, the key to the team. But when you get into a game and you start losing and playing 2-minute drives and stuff like that, it's hard to really be like, all right, we got to score 2 times here in the next 10 minutes. Like, can we run the ball? In those situations, like certain times, I think you can still run the ball when you're down. But for us, it's like, what fundamentally assignment-based can we do early in the game to make sure the running game is working right for that game?
Talked to Tommy recently. He was just explaining that the sacks and the quarterback hits and the quarterback pressures, like that's just not an offensive line thing. But what can be done then collectively as a unit to lower those numbers, give Dylan a little more time back there, or at least give him, a better view of plays?
Yeah, it's one of those things where like everybody just blocks better. You know what I mean? Like overall, like everybody has their assignment and blocks better. Like it should work better. But for us, I think it is continue to establish the run, have those play action plays off the run, make sure assignments sound when we do call the shot plays and stuff that we're blocked up, even if they blitz secondary guys and extra players. And truthfully, it does come down to winning your one-on-ones. Like you have to make your blocks in this league. and you play tough defense like the Steelers, and they got 5 or 6 guys that get off the quarterback. Like, eventually you got to win your one-on-ones. Like, there's ways to help it. There's ways to fix it. I think you've seen teams against our defense, like, they do certain things to try and get the ball out and try and make those things happen. But at the end of the day, when you have the shots and you have the open plays, you gotta execute.
When the weather, every offensive lineman is rather run block. So when you see a forecast for 35 to 40 mile an hour winds on Sunday, are you looking forward to a game like that?
I mean, I like playing in a little bit of the slop. It's it just. I always say, like, the O-line are like the slowest guys on the field, and so when the field gets a little bit slower for everybody else, like, we can only get so slow. So, like, it's gonna slow everybody else down, and we'll kind of be in the bring them into our world a little bit. But we're still gonna have to execute. We're still gonna have to find ways. Like, if they know you're gonna run the ball too, it might make it more difficult in that situation. So we'll see how Cleveland. You never know off the lake what's gonna actually happen. It could be sunny, for all we know. So we'll prepare and we'll see what happens on Sunday.
I was kind of add to that when you see Miami's giving up some yards in the run game, right? And overall, defensively, like, you've been around a long time. Do you look at that and go, okay, this is a chance for us to do something, or can you just not afford to think like that?
Yeah, I mean, you watch the film and you see some scheme stuff where they got beat and some missed tackles where it's like, I mean, if they make a couple of those tackles, like, it might not be as bad. So you look at both sides of it, the positives and the negatives, what schemes have worked. But I have caught myself in past lives in the league where it's like, oh, these guys giving up the most yards, and you go out there and you don't execute. So I think for us, it's our fundamentals, our execution, and we'll see what happens on Sunday.
Joe made a point to say that it feels like this team is still connected. You've been around the block. What signs do you see that reinforce that?
Yeah, like I kind of touched on earlier, I agree with Bubba. The locker room is still close. Like it's been frustrating, and like I think everybody's collectively frustrated. But the pointing fingers, the in argument, like in-house arguments and stuff like that, it hasn't been there. Everybody's just trying to have that positive attitude to find a way out, and try and get a win this week, and winning solves a lot of those issues if they are there.
You alluded to there a little bit. What are the warnings? Like, what do you watch for to make sure that nothing is fracturing?
Yeah, it's just the in-house. Like you have people blaming other people. You have people talking behind people's backs. You have these meetings where it's all just like blame, where a lot of people are just taking the blame on themselves. Like, we have to do better as this, and we'll be in a better situation.
Joel, are you going to watch the icy hot bowl tonight?
I'll probably have it on. I hadn't heard it was named that yet, but I'll probably have it on. 2 division. We just played them. Obviously, Joe is a good friend of mine. It's one of those games where you just like kind of root for a tie. They're division rivals or something. I don't know. Can they both lose? But I'll probably have it on before I go to bed.
Joel, there's been some talk about those conditions, Sunday, those field conditions. You've played a bunch of games at that stadium. Is that as bad as it's been?
Yeah, that was the worst field I've played on. Like, and it wasn't even bad weather or anything, which is the other part. Like, you get some games, even in Cleveland, where it's been bad weather, bad rain, but it was bad. I mean, anytime you stepped, like, so much turf was coming out. It was pretty much like dirt, but like piled up. Like, I think Cam Hayward and Aaron Rodgers already mentioned it, but it was kind of embarrassing that the National Football League, the best in the world, is playing on that grass for a game. And I know they have a lot of teams that play there, but I just feel like that's not a great excuse. Like, oh, we're fixing it now. It's like, well, the game is already over. The game that was played on it. So it was a little bit frustrating for sure.
Is it dangerous?
I think so. I mean, you lose footing, you lose ground. I mean, anytime you play football, it's dangerous. But in those situations, like, you would see a guy cut, and there'd be just a mound of dirt and grass, and everything was sliding. I mean, you saw their kicker. One of their guys got hurt. Like, who knows if they would have got hurt in regular or slipped in regular, but you would think, you'd want a standard, perfect, as close to perfect playing surface you can get.
Yours seemed pretty perfect here. I mean,
yeah, the Browns do a great job. Our field crew, I think, is, especially with our weather conditions here, I think they do probably the best job in the league of keeping, like, it's easy in Florida and stuff to keep nice grass, but for us, I think Cleveland does a great job.
And I know that's something the NFL Gates push for is to play on grass, but does that kind of go hand in hand with this idea of, like, there should be a standard of what that field looks like?
Yeah, I think if you're going to, like, I love grass. I'm 100 times out of 100 playing grass. But, like, you have to take care of it. You have to invest in it. You have to make sure it's a safe surface. And I think if you talk to 99% of players, they would agree with that sentiment.